Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
They got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
We're doing commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican police service Latino. I didn't ask you to interrupt.
Is that correct?
Oh, from safe.
Good morning. Whoa, why can't I hear myself? Good morning, good morning. Wow. Test 1, 2, check 1, 2. Oh, there I am. Good morning. You can hear me, but I could not. All right. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Still not dialed in. Test 1, 2. 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 It's got to be this one. It's the only knob I haven't turned. Happy Monday to you. Welcome. Sorry, I was just a teensy bit late this morning, but I've been working on some fun stuff. All right. Greeners, congratulations. Let me see if I can do this. I fixed my buttons, so yes, Greeners. First in chat. Thank you very much for that. Congratulations. The internet is all yours. Keep it running because we've got stuff to do, place to go, people to see. Where did my mouse go? Okay, we need to go over here. Okay, all right. Good morning. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? Still sounds like I'm underwater. Does it sound like I'm underwater to you? Or is it just, do I always sound like this? Am I finally able to hear what you guys hear? Or is something wrong with my system? Let's see. Audio processing looks right. Levels are good. Settings are right. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. That's a little better. Okay. All right. Well, sound fine to me. Good. That works. That's good enough. Happy Monday. I had an amazing weekend. I've got some floor where I didn't have floor before. Of course, I watched a YouTube video this morning, which showed me that I need to now pull up the floor and redo something and then put the floor back down. So I should have watched the video first and then put the floor down. Nope, I didn't. Wow, we've got some people to celebrate really quickly, and then we've got to sing happy birthday because, oh my goodness, I'm late for court. Well, not late, but it's going to start soon. Let's see. Here's a couple people who came in hot this morning. MCTD. Welcome to the gallery. Mama, thank you very much. MCTD Mama. Let's see. Jessica, member for 12 months. You got the big orange courthouse. Congratulations. Good morning to you, Jessica, as well. And Cheryl Ann, member for 16 months. Good morning, chat. Happy to be here with y'all. I'm happy you're here with us as well. Man, I can't wait to talk tech with you guys. I know you guys don't want to talk tech, and mostly you're just like, you nod and smile and be like, yeah, that's nice, dear. Oh my goodness, I found a missing piece I was looking for a long time. And I'm signed up for the beta test. It's not out yet. And I'm like, it's so close. It's so close. And it would make things very, 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 very easy and very cool. There will be another cable involved, of course. There's another cable. There's another camera involved. Super excited. Bite Me says, my birthday was yesterday. Well, we'll sing to you today. We'll add you to the birthday list, Rebecca. We will do that. All right, where are we? Do we have time for birthdays? Can we do, of course we have time for birthdays. Can we do the birthdays now? Is that all right? Is there a winner of the button contest? I have to check with Amber. She's the only one that can see the results. Let's see. I don't think there was a birthday winner yet. Let's see. Happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating today. Let's give just a minute for our birthday wishes to come through. Thank you very much for all the hard work, Sharon, putting this together. I know I throw this on you first thing in the morning, and you just handle it, and it's amazing. Thank you. There we go. There it comes in. Okay, so we got Maria, Linda, MJ, Lisa, and now we need to add, because we just got a late ad, Rebecca, bite me. Amber says, I sent you a direct message this morning. No one are you? I read that. I just, I forgot. Wink, wink. I forgot. Okay, here we go. I'm going to add Rebecca to this list, and we're going to sing. Do you want me to sing Bite Me? I'm going to sing Rebecca. Is that all right? Okay, everyone stand up, deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with the neighbors, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. That was bad, but we'll go with it anyway. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Linda, MJ, Lisa, and Rebecca. Happy birthday to you. To everyone who's celebrating their birthday today, happy birthday. Bite Me, thank you very much. We got you on there as well. I realize that you've a million places you could be, a million people you could have celebrated with, but you've chosen to be here with us. The privilege and pleasure is all ours. Hopefully we return that to you and make your day a little more specialer. Kick it off with free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, McDonald's, Waffle House, Tammy Dunlap's house, and Andy's Bar and Grill. There we go. It's not a bar. Andy doesn't have a bar. It's just Andy's Grill. And I should know this because it's like not far from me. Anyway. Happy birthday to everybody. We are going to be jumping to court in mere moments, and we'll let the birthday song play out because we got time. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Go shorty. Okay, all right. No, that's probably not the right song to sing, but it's the one that came to mind. I started on slow mode. Why would I do something like that? That's terrible. It's terrible. Send someone with more experience. Oh yeah. That snare is snapping today. Here comes the solo. Everyone grab your air drumsticks. We're going to finish this off. 50 cents, just like the price of the cert. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. Happy birthday. Thank you, everyone, for letting us celebrate with you this morning. That gives us time to sneak into the back row of court nice and quiet like before the judge notices. I'm trying to get my counter going. It's not running yet. Just 1 second. We have a couple things happening. The way we ended on Friday, first of all, the state has rested, and the defense has sort of picked up the ball and is running with court. But they had to end a little bit early, and they didn't have court on Friday because they didn't have witnesses ready. Now, normally that's bad, but this case has been progressing faster than normal, so the judge is just chill about it. He's like, oh, it's all right. We'll give you a day off. We're ahead of schedule anyway, right? And but today we know we have at least 3 witnesses, and one of them may be Natalie, because the judge kicked everyone out of court Thursday afternoon and said, hey, I have to have that little colloquy with the defendant to see if she wants to testify. And he didn't let anyone be there. It's weird. I've never seen a judge treat that as like it was something personal and private. It's always been quite open public, but anyway, there's a little colloquy he wanted to have, and we might see Natalie testify today. We might. She could change her mind. She might have said yes on Thursday and no today, or vice versa. So excited about that. Let me get our. I need camera 7. Well, let me talk. Can I talk tech with you guys yet? Is it all right? I found a way. Here we go. Here's camera 7. Let's go here. Ready, super. And let's bring in our objection counter overlay. I found a way to do what I've wanted to do for a long time. And part of the problem, I love remote production, right? I like to be able to run things from a distance so I don't necessarily have to be there. I found a way to do it. Okay, I need this guy in. There we go, objection counter. We're up 106 objections already. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, you guys said yes to the tech. I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure everyone said, please talk tech to us. And so I will now, just at your request. I found a way to, I can take a camera, and I have one of them already. I can take a camera and configure it here, like in my studio, and send it way far away. And they can just plug it in, and I can see it immediately on my switcher. That's it. They plug it into a single cable, a single internet cable, and it works. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we have to do a little testing and get that all, working. And the company needs to release the product out of beta, because right now it's just in beta. By the way, Debbie, thank you. I finally got your sticker, and I'm sending your sticker in return. Debbie sent me a cool little sticker that says, Recovery Addict, congratulations on surpassing 63,000 subscribers. That is awesome, Debbie. And yes, I did exchange. And because you made a sticker just for me. I also sent you a magnet. And nobody else has ever got a magnet. So I sent you a sticker and a magnet. So thank you. All right. So lots of fun. What do you think the treatise the judge is planning to bring the jury today? I'm thinking bagels. Bagels are due, or maybe long overdue. The judge is a donut guy. If the judge had his way, I'm pretty sure it would be donuts every day, like the same mixed donuts. He probably brings like 2 dozen, a dozen glazed, and then a dozen mixed. And that could be his breakfast every day. Someone just slid a laundry basket full of clothes down our wooden stairs towards our grandfather clock and missed the grandfather clock. That's impressive. Mrs. R.A. likes doing that. You can out her on that. Because it's a pain to carry the laundry basket from upstairs to downstairs. And we have these nice wooden stairs where they can just zip down. It's like a roller coaster. And it stops, like it slides across the floor and stops before the the grandfather clock. At least ideally it doesn't hit it. Because it was my grandfather's. It was my grandfather's clock. So I have my grandfather's grandfather clock. All right. Let's see. I was going to make a complaint. Do we have time for a rant, Judge? Can I complain? Can we hear the clock chime one day? It does a dee 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 dong 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 like that. That's exactly. It's probably the sound you would hear. I have it turned off because it likes to chime a lot, a ton. This old house doesn't have a laundry chute or a dumbwaiter. It did. It had a laundry chute that was framed in, and I'm not going to open it up again. It was done before we got here. Okay, I have a complaint. And just, Amber, don't jump on me. I'm not going politics. Okay, this is still Pickles. I'm just talking about regulation. This is not like a political thing at all. Regulation is out of control in one specific area.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Judge, wait for me because I'm not ready yet. Gas cans. The spout on a gas can. Did you know that the government requires you to have these funky little weird contraptions all designed to prevent spilling when you're pouring gas from a gas can into a lawnmower? Try going to Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere and try buying just a regular old gas can. And it practically has to come with an instruction booklet to teach you how to work the little newfangled design to open up the spout to make it pour, right? It's crazy. And every year it changes. So every time you go, there's a new contraption that's designed, this one you have to twist and hold and pull this while it's turned, and then it's supposed to vent. And every single time, they spill worse than any other I've ever had. Remember the old, like the metal can, you just tip it and it poured? It spills more than that, okay? I hate them. I hate them. Can you imagine if that same level of regulation was enforced when it came to mouse traps? There would be like safety devices to prevent people from snapping them on their thumbs, or from accidentally stepping on them, or from catching, an animal that's not a mouse. It would be impossible to catch a mouse if they had that same level of regulation on a mouse trap as they have on a gas can. I just want my regular gas can back. That's it. All right, that's all. Rant is over. Hate is such a strong word. Clearly, you have not used one of the latest gas cans. So, that's it. That's all you got. Yeah, it's early. It's a Monday. Debbie, if someone's seated in your reserved seat, please inform the bailiff. Thank you. Debbie, I don't know what's happening. This happened on Friday as well. Something is triple sending on your end, or more so. We're getting like doubles of everything you say. So it comes in once and then it comes in again. Or a third time. Oh man, those were good. You know how expensive they are on eBay? Crazy trying to find a good gas can. Tried to start my lawnmower over the weekend. This is probably where their true rant is. Tried to start my riding lawnmower. And you guys, I did a live stream when I repaired the lawnmower. And it's not starting. And if I have to replace that stupid carburetor again, I'm going to be frustrated because it's been like 1 month since, maybe a month and a half since we used it. I'm going to try a little bit of, brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner in the vent and see if it'll fire up. But awesome, glad you got your sticker. I've got a handful more that I've got to mail off. They're sitting right here. So there are a couple of you. I still have your stickers right here. But all right, we're still digging out from the snow and cold in Ohio. We don't use a lawnmower for months. There's a 2-week winter in North Carolina. It's 2 weeks long. We just had it, where you don't mow the grass. We actually got snow during this one, which is rare. Are you using gas without ethanol? I can't find a place that sells it around here. Everything has ethanol in it. That's a good business model. Garage sales, old farm sales, and buys the old gas cans. Then sells them on eBay to people like me for way too much money. Yes, you're in luck. You're in luck, Lizzie. A special shout out today for Lizzie Yordy's daughter, Jessie. Jessie, who is 17 today. Jessie, you're almost an adult. You probably already know everything already, but you know that as well. But you are almost an adult. Happy birthday, Jessie. Hope a wonderful birthday. Lizzie, thanks for letting us know. Is that her in the picture? When she was younger? Is that her in the picture, in your profile picture, Lizzie? Happy birthday. Debbie, you missed it. I did get your sticker, and I did a shout out to you. Get your sticker. I also got my tax documents in the mail. That's going to be fun. All right. That one only came in one time. Debbie, that came in one time. So it's better now. Adulting is hard, Jesse. Yeah. All right. There were other things I wanted to talk about, but I cannot remember what they were. It's Monday. It's we've got a whole week. We expect a verdict this week, but as always, every time we start late for court, I've just got to wonder what is going on. Do we have some sort of, I don't know, plea deal in the works? I hate to bring it up because the odds of that happening are like next to nil, right? It's happened like one time, maybe two times in the last couple of years. But it's slow. Here we go. We'll find out.
All rise.
Amber's calling me. I'll take it offline.
Third, the Circuit Court of Raleigh County is now sitting. You may be seated.
Good morning. We continue in the case of State of West Virginia versus Natalie P. Cochran. This is case number 23-F-343K. Are there any matters that we need to take up out of the presence of the jury on behalf of the state?
Not for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything on behalf of the defense?
Not at this time.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going moving ahead.
Bring in
No
the
plea
jury,
deal.
please, bailiff.
Bring in the jury, please, bailiff. Bailiff, please
Pardon?
bring in the jury.
I don't know.
I was told by Sarah that he's in the waiting area, whatever that is.
Okay.
So we would still have to do the telephone voice.
We're going to call our expert witness again. Oh, look who's in the background that we can show now.
Okay.
Look who's in the background that we can show now that we could not show before. I see what I think is a juvenile, a 17-year-old juvenile who may have testified in court. And the judge informed him, if you want to sit there with the family, you can, but TV can show you. That's what I see. That's her son. He was warned. He was. This judge gets voicemail all the time.
You have a better number?
No one's going to pick up when it says court. You know you can decode DTMF tones, right?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I'm so glad to see you all. You came back, and I appreciate it so much.
What was the truth?
You can see we're still having a few problems. That's why we're a little bit late this morning. We're trying to work out all the bugs. Thank you very much for the fudge. I will eat all the fudge that I can get, as you can see, and I appreciate it very much. And don't be despondent that you just got donut holes this morning, because I've decided to declare a pizza day today, and I'm going to have pizza for you for lunch. So
I didn't hear any
you can
cheers.
count on that, and that'll be a little incentive for you to hang around and to look forward to lunch. Doctor, is that you on the line? Can you hear me?
I didn't know a judge can declare a holiday.
We can hear him, but he can't hear us, apparently.
The judge has declared a pizza day. 80s Music Man. Filmed my first game short, and I got 500 plus views. That's awesome. 80s, I'm glad you're loving it.
We somehow need to get word to him to pick up the phone. Can you text him?
I don't think he doesn't really respond.
This is crazy. He doesn't respond. How much are you paying your experts?
Stand up in front of the camera and answer your phone.
Oh, we're going to make him a sign. We're going to be like, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone.
I'm not sure that he can see us. Maybe he can.
His first word sounds like phone. We're doing charades.
Ah, he's moving.
This is nuts.
I was never very good at charades.
He was never very good at charades. Every day, this court stoops to a new low.
Walmart. I can't hear them, and it was.
That's.
He's got a sign he's holding up saying, "Answer the phone."
Now he does have his phone. Can you call again, Colleen?
This is crazy.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Doctor, can you possibly mute your Teams link so we don't have feedback?
Can you hear us, Doctor, now?
I can hear you on the phone.
Okay, that's what we're going to do, is use the phone for audio.
Okay, our microphone is muted.
Okay.
Muted now? No, they're muting that.
Ask him if he wants to turn the speaker on.
You can turn the speaker phone on and put the phone down, and we can work it that way.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, we can hear perfectly well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, there's probably a small matter we need to approach the bench on before we take Dr. Dragovich's.
All right.
This is bizarre. We bring the jury in, and then we take care of the stuff we could have done before the jury came in. So this court is challenged technologically. They think it is their old equipment. And let me just tell you, it isn't their old equipment. It's the operator. It's the operator. The equipment they have, you can use. Many courts use. But they don't know how to use it properly. Defendant looks chipper. Yes, she's back in a cardigan. Looks like it might be a little chilly there. A couple people bundled up.
All right, members of the jury, as you can plainly see, we are still on the defense case in chief, and I'd ask Mr. Selden to call the next witness.
Your Honor, I would like to call Dr. Dragovich.
Dr. Dre.
And I'm not
or
even going
Dr.
to try and
Dragovich.
pronounce his first name. I will let him do that.
We're just going to call him Dr. Dre.
Doctor, would you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You may be seated, sir.
Thank you.
You may proceed, Mr. Selden.
Thank you. Would you please state for the court your full name and how you spell it?
I am Ljubica Jovan Dragovic. That's Ljubisa, middle Jovan, last Dragovic.
We're just going to call it Dr. Dre.
Where do you work, Dr. Dragovich, and what's your title?
I work in the capacity of chief forensic pathologist and chief medical examiner for County of Oakland in Michigan, and I work here in this building. This is my building, building 28B in Oakland County Government Complex, and this is one of our conference rooms for this purpose and other purposes of meetings and or whatever other needs.
Whatever.
Now, from your testimony, you're a doctor. What areas are you designated as a doctor? And by that question, do you have the title of a neuropathologist?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm a physician, MD. I graduated back 49 and a half years ago at Medical Faculty, University of Belgrade. And I went through multiple training. As far as pathology, I'm trained in anatomical pathology, board certified by the American Board of Pathology. I'm board certified in neuropathology by the American Board of Pathology, and I'm board certified in forensic pathology by the American Board of Pathology. Those occurred back in 1982, 1985, and 1987, respectively.
Are you licensed to practice in any states?
Yes, sir. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Michigan, and I'm licensed in the state of New York, where I originally obtained my license back in, I believe, 1982.
I believe you said you were board certified, and once again, for clarity, what areas are you board certified in?
I'm board certified in anatomical pathology, in neuropathology, and in forensic pathology.
Thank you. Do you have any publications, or have you authored any publications of any kind?
I've got the latest edition
related
of
to your
Popular
field.
Mechanics.
Yes, in both fields, both neuropathology and forensic pathology. I've done some original research papers with some of my associates over time, and I have also authored several chapters in textbooks addressing the areas of the neuropathology of trauma in infants and children, and in the textbook of essential forensic neuropathology. Also, I have authored the chapter in sharp force injury and separate chapter in blunt force injury in an international textbook of forensic pathology.
Do you have any teaching experience?
Yes, over time,
His CV is 33 pages long. I'm reviewing it now. Thank you,
I
Albert.
served as clinical associate professor at the Department of Neurology at Wayne State University Medical School in Detroit, Michigan, from, I believe, somewhere in 1988 to 1987 through a few years ago when I effectively retired or resigned because of the geographical distance that became a problem, because my office is about 25 miles away from the campus of the University Hospital, and I basically could not run there, attend to the rounds and teaching sessions, and continue my work here, my day-to-day work here in the city of Pontiac, where my office is.
Okay, now, you mentioned your day-to-day work. What is that day-to-day work?
My day-to-day work is medical legal investigation of death. That is a statutory obligation, and my position here is governed by the state statutes. The state statute is called the Medical Examiner's Act of the State of Michigan, and it requires me, among other people who are involved in this, to open up medical legal death investigation and any sudden suspicious or unexplained death that needs to be addressed at any given time. The purpose of that is to establish the cause, why someone died, and the manner of death, how death came upon this person. So those are the two critical issues that ought to be addressed as compliance to the statutory requirements, and also to review those findings to paper. Over time, of course, we have electronic database and everything, but we still follow the letter of the law here and review things to paper.
All right. And in your job as a medical examiner and also a forensic pathologist, you conduct autopsies, do you not?
Yes, I actually conducted 6 of them over the weekend.
Okay, this
4
guy.
on Saturday and 2 yesterday.
I'm calling this
All
right now. I'm going to mute him for just a
Can
second.
you estimate, and if you can, fine, if you can't, can you estimate approximately how many autopsies you've done over your career?
I can't, but roughly it will be in thousands, because I've been in this line of work for almost 40 years, and
I'm going to mute him for a second. I'm going to turn it off while he talks because we can't understand him anyway for the most part. I just did a search on his CV, and it's 33 pages long. 111 of the entries are the things he's appeared on and what he's published. 111 of them are a little talk he gave to a Citizens Police Academy. Now, I love Citizens Police Academy. I've gone, Weatherwatch has gone, love it. It's huge. That is not what I would call a presentation level for a CV. I think that pads your CV a little bit. 111 times he's done that.
I mean, obviously, I moved to a different jurisdiction, but bottom line would be thousands. How many? It's
all right.
10,000, 8,000. I can't tell because I don't keep track of that.
That's sufficient. As a forensic pathologist and a neuropathologist, have you testified in any trials?
This is the first this week, but yes,
First one for the week?
In a direct in person, in local court, district court, circuit court, throughout the state of Michigan and coast to coast, from the East Coast to West Coast and down to Alabama and Louisiana and Florida and wherever I was subpoenaed or requested to come in and to provide the interpretations that may be needed.
All right. Your Honor, I submit at this point that Dr. Dragovich is to be certified as an expert in the fields of neuropathology and forensic pathology.
One of his presentations was done at the Bloomfield Public Library.
Chairman, Ms. Acorn, do you wish to engage in voir dire of the proposed expert witness?
No, Your Honor, we accept him as an expert.
All right, Dr. Dragovich is considered an expert in the fields of forensic pathology and neuropathology.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
His presentation list is I would say
Dr.
pathetic.
Dragovich, did you prepare a report for this court in the case of the state of West Virginia versus Natalie Cochran?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay. I would like to submit this report as an exhibit and whatever defendant's last number is.
It'll be defendant's exhibit number 11, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I didn't remember.
He's given the same presentation, the role of medical examiner in law enforcement, like 100 times.
Now, Dr. Dragovich, because of the wonders of technology, I cannot hand you this report, but do you have a copy of the report you submitted? At the top, it's identified in the top as Oakland County, Michigan, and there's various information there, including your name and Chief of Forensic Pathology. It's dated January 6th of 2025. And do you have that report, which numbers 3 pages?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask you questions related to this report. All right?
That's fine.
I want to set this here so I don't forget it.
Did he talk to the BATF about the limitations of protective vests one time? I guess he knows a lot about those too. Lions Club, Rotary Club, Public Library.
Now, on page 1 of that report, and if you would, follow along with me. At the bottom, it has a section called Materials Reviewed. Would you please tell this court what materials you reviewed in preparation for this report and your testimony?
Yes, I will. Thank you. Number 1 would be Heredity General Hospital records regarding Michael Cochran. Number 2 would be Charleston Area Medical Center records regarding Michael Cochran. Number 3 would be a report of the post-mortem examination, case number WV-2019-3671. Michael Cochran, deceased, issued by Piotr Kubicek, MD, on September 3rd, 2019. Number 4, the autopsy photograph. Number 5 would be a report of re-examination and examination of the remains of Michael Cochran, deceased, performed by Dr. Paul S. Zuribe, MD, on July 11, 2023. And then medical report of Diane R. Krieger, MD, based on records review issued on April 13, 2023.
Do you believe that the totality of those records informs you enough to make an informed decision and to give your opinion and testimony here today in this case?
Yes.
On page 2 of your report.
Yes, sir.
You have a section titled Brief Case Synopsis and Issues to be Addressed. Would you give a brief synopsis of this case as you understand it and the issues you were to address?
Well, the this is an unfortunate death of a 38-year-old man who was a bodybuilding enthusiast, and based on the information, that took an excessive amount of clomiphene sulfate supplements that he purchased in Mexico. Subsequently developed seizures, and that same day, which was February 6, 2019, as indicated, and lost consciousness or lost his balance and struck his head during a fall at home. Then became.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes, sir.
Did this information about the circumstances come from your review of the medical records?
This was the account provided throughout and matched with other accounts from the records and from the authorities as well, I believe.
Okay.
Because that was the statement provided by the spouse of Mr. Cochran.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is you have... Start that. That's sufficient.
That was
Thank you.
quite leading.
Would you please go on with your synopsis?
He was taken to a local medical center and emergency room, and subsequently where he was documented as suffering from hypoglycemia, and then he was taken to Charleston area medical center for continued treatment, but in the comatose state. And then because of the profound encephalopathy, he was transferred to hospice care and pronounced 5 days later, that is on February 11th of 2019.
What is encephalopathy?
Encephalopathy, its simple translation means suffering of the brain. And encephalopathy can be caused by various unfavorable factors that may negatively affect the brain function. So it might be lack of oxygen, it might be lack of glucose, might be traumatic encephalopathy where there is interference with adequate blood supply to the brain, or various toxic encephalopathies upon exposure to either poisonous gases or poisonous substances in so many different ways. There may be also endogenous encephalopathies from in a person suffering of urine syndrome.
One moment. What's endogenous? Would you explain that to the jury?
Endogenous coming from within the body, from alien organs from within the body, which generally would happen as a result of liver failure and kidney failure, or combination thereof.
Okay.
They can also come from various other endocrinopathies, meaning the diseases of endocrine system, diseases of the glands with internal secretion that control our metabolic functioning day to day in any of our bodies worldwide.
Can you state that encephalopathy has occurred in this case, Mr. Cochran's brain, from a physical examination of that brain?
Well, it would be based not on not so much on inquiry, but the fact that there is disturbance of consciousness, and that was the critical part that was documented throughout. That Mr. Cochran was first of all brought from one hospital in semi-comatose state to another hospital where his death, his unconsciousness.
Okay, so can I interrupt you there for just a moment? So it's a combination of your physical analysis of the body as well as his history, which is contained in the medical records. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, but primarily the fact that there was loss of consciousness and continuously occurring, deepening, and finally being complete, and leading to life support and hospice care.
Can a person have an anatomically normal brain and still have seizures?
Of course, the seizure activity is an abnormal electrical activity, and oftentimes in individuals who have cellular level problems or very localized problems with the brain tissue, there will be creation of abnormal electrical activity without necessarily identifiable focus physically. One examines the brain and does not find any such reasonable substrate, as we call it, or change in the tissue to account for a occurrence of abnormal electrical activity that we refer to as seizure. However, in many other situations, that is possible and that can be clearly identified. So you can go either way depending on each and individual case. Every single individual on this planet is slightly different than anybody else, and one cannot generate some statistical projection about one person vis-a-vis the other person until there is complete examination and a full assessment, a full examination of this person's brain.
Okay, now I have another question at this time. Can a person suffer a brain injury without external signs of injury? For instance, can a person lose consciousness, fall to the ground, and not have an actual observable injury on the outside of their skull?
Yes, that is possible.
Okay. Now, in this case, Mr. Cochran had seizures. That's documented in all the records, correct?
Yes, sir.
From your review of everything in this case, could Mr. Cochran have had seizures due to unknown medications or body enhancement drugs in his system?
Of course, it's possible. Yes, there are quite a few drugs that can create compromised brain function and actually start the abnormal electrical activity.
Okay. You talk about in almost the middle of page 2, you say that there were vague circumstances that triggered the investigation into Mr. Cochran's death, exhumation, and autopsy in September 3rd, 2019, the first autopsy. Could you explain or elaborate on what you mean by the vague circumstances?
Well, there was somehow generated a suspicion that the demise of Mr. Cochran was not what was represented at the time of his demise, and then the investigation was opened up, carried out, and ended up with an exhumation of the remains.
Okay. Now, the first exhumation was done September 3rd of 2019.
Correct.
Mr. Cochran passed away, I believe it was somewhere around February. Sorry, do you remember the date that he passed away?
Yeah, 11th, yes.
Okay, February 11th of 2019, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So the first autopsy was done 7 months after Michael Cochran's death. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this autopsy was done by Dr. Kubicek, who was the West Virginia medical examiner. Did you review Dr. Kubicek's report of the autopsy and exhumation?
I did.
Okay. Was Dr. Kubicek's ultimate findings and conclusion that the autopsy findings themselves were inconclusive and the cause of death was undetermined and the manner of death was undeterminable?
Yes, sir.
What is the cause of death?
Undeterminable.
The cause of death is anatomical finding in the body or on the body that explains why a particular individual died. This may be the finding of an infarct, a finding of a blockage of the major blood vessel or the coronary blood vessel, major bleed in the brain, tumor with metastases that stops the vital function of the body, a wound by firearm, wounds by sharp force, injuries by blunt force like 2x4 used to bash someone's head, and etc., etc. So a demonstrable, understandable autopsy finding, anatomical finding within the body or on the body of a particular person.
So, is it your job as a forensic pathologist to look for the anatomical evidence of why someone dies, the cause of death? Is that your function? One of them?
Yes, it is. That's the basic function, and it is in the most statutes throughout the Union. It calls for a forensic pathologist or medical examiner or coroner to establish the cause of death based on such endeavor.
Just as an aside, what exactly is a forensic pathologist?
A forensic pathologist is a public pathologist. Word forensic comes from Latin word for, which is a place of public gathering, and in such way it depicts a forensic pathologist, whether a man or a woman working in that capacity on behalf of the public and being called upon to interpret any such finding for the benefit of the public, like in a court of law or in the media or any place where such need exists.
So there's some degree of interpretation in this, which is based on your medical knowledge. Wouldn't that be a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
What is the manner of death? What does that term mean?
Manner of death is how death came upon a person, meaning the physical circumstances combined with those findings on the body or within the body. And there are worldwide 5 categories of manner of death. There's a natural death, where there are causes from within the body that result in someone's death. Then there is homicide, where there is death resulting from a purposeful act of another person occurred. Then there is a very narrow category of suicide, where death is the result of purposeful act by self and self only. If anyone else is involved, it's a homicide again. Then there is accident as a category of death, where death is the result of untoward effects of someone's act or action, acts of nature, floods, fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, or a person driving a car at a high rate of speed and impacting another vehicle, causing death, or striking a pedestrian somewhere where death results as an untoward effect of action.
Untoward effect of what? You kind of faded out there.
I didn't hear you, sir.
You said an untoward effect of something, and what did you say? You kind of wrote it out there.
Untoward, the unpredictable, untoward effect that cannot be interfered with or something along those lines. So, like I said, these are something for the most part the result of basically the unwilling or unwanted result of someone's act or action.
Okay. Now,
and there is also a last category that provides the opportunity for forensic pathologists to say that they don't know, and that's the undeterminable manner of death.
So, undeterminable means they've looked at everything, they can't come to a conclusive determination of the manner of death, so that's called undeterminable, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you may have covered this in your explanation, but as to manner of death, it's how death comes upon a person, including the physical circumstances surrounding that death. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
I want to concentrate on the term homicide. Okay?
Okay.
Would it be a true statement that in determining homicide, which is one of those categories that talk about the manner of death, that homicide, if that's a forensic pathologist's conclusion, it has to be demonstrated by their findings, not assumed. Would that be a correct statement?
Yes.
And when I say demonstrated, that is the actual physical findings, and that's the only possible conclusion. Would that be true?
Yes, sir.
I believe towards the bottom of your page, you're talking about Michael Cochran's nervous system. Okay? And you talk about, and this information came from Dr. Just a moment. Okay, there we go. That information that you described was from the first autopsy done by Dr. Kubitschek. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Can you summarize or describe your description there, or Dr. Kubitschek's description, in layman's terms, so we can understand it? I'm not sophisticated enough to actually understand all of these terms. Can you dummy it down for me?
We are talking about the brain of Mr. Cochran at the time of autopsy, the first autopsy, after the first exhumation, and the report says that everything is fine, that the hard covering of the brain are intact, and the soft coverings are thin and delicate, and cerebral hemispheres are symmetrical, meaning that the parts of the brain are fine. The description basically is referencing the standard appearance of a normal brain when it is taken out of the cranial wall.
Okay.
However,
I want to ask you specific questions on that. Okay?
Yes.
Dr. Kubitschek essentially says that Michael Cochran's brain on autopsy was normal. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, I have to disagree with that because this was a decomposed brain. We know it was decomposed brain by the photographs that were provided from that examination.
Okay, and I want to ask a specific question there.
Yes, sir.
A person's brain on autopsy after death, and after 7 months of death and burial, what would you expect that person's brain to be? And by that, does decomposition affect the brain so it shrinks?
Decomposition means falling apart. The tissue is disintegrating. The tissue is breaking up completely, so the brain itself gets fluidy and falls apart. So it is not the same as when it's freshly removed from a cranial wall, someone that has passed away within hours prior to that or within a couple of days prior to that.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question there. Would a decomposed brain that's falling apart, would that be expected to weigh less than a normal brain?
Well, probably it will, and it's relatively low to mid brain weight. I cannot say specifically on the account of the documented brain weight, but it has the tendency to decrease the actual brain weight and to blur the distinction between the gray matter and the white matter of the brain, which would be the areas to look for any changes in a history like this, in this particular case.
Okay. Now, it was documented in the medical records that Michael Cochran had, I'll call it, an enlarged brain. Do you recall that?
Yes. Swollen brain.
Swollen.
Yes.
Expanded.
Yes.
Would these results that Michael Cochran's brain appeared essentially normal, even though it had decomposed over 7 months, would that be likely to confirm that he had an enlarged brain or swollen brain prior to death?
Well,
would it be an indicator? Would it be an indicator?
It's not a situation where you can make an inference from the decomposing brain about something that is being reported, objectively documented by radiographic imaging.
Okay. All right. So you can't really make that determination based just on the post-mortem autopsy. Wouldn't that be correct?
Well, it's not on this post-mortem examination.
That's what I'm getting at. This post-mortem autopsy.
Of course not, because of the inevitable change, the breakdown of tissue throughout the human body over a period of 7 months.
Okay. Is the timeliness of an autopsy important in conducting your medico-legal investigation of someone's death?
Yes, sir. It is of critical importance.
Okay. Would it be a fair statement that in Michael Cochran, his body, which was examined 7 months after death, was too decomposed to rule out important anatomic findings such as infection, pancreatic tumors, and in doing a complete toxicology report? Is that a fair statement? It was too decomposed for those things.
Well, it has to be, the answer has to be slightly modified. Decomposition definitely creates a serious impediment. However, sometimes one can find presence of a tumor because tumor tissue is not sometimes as conducive to falling apart as the rest of the normal tissue. So there are exceptions all the way, but as a general proposition, the decomposition of the remains is a major impediment for adequate diagnostic findings.
And in this particular autopsy of Mr. Cochran, the decomposition made it pretty much impossible to determine if he had such things as pancreatic tumors. Would that be a fair statement?
Well, it would be a fair statement, and I concur there with the conclusion of the doctors that performed the autopsy, the first autopsy at the time.
Okay. And is it true that the pancreas, under normal circumstances, provides the body with insulin?
Yes, it's specific parts of the pancreas. The islet provides the beta cells from the pancreatic islet provide insulin for the general functioning of the body.
Now, if a person has pancreatic tumors, that affects their production of insulin. Is that a true statement?
Well, different tumors of pancreas give different, basically different effects. There may be a tumor of the islet cells, like that we refer to as insulinoma, that can provide large amounts of or abnormal amounts of insulin to the body. Now, there may be cancer of the head of the pancreas that may break down the pancreas completely and cause pancreatic necrosis as well. I mean, there are all kinds of variable possibilities.
I want to concentrate on this particular analysis of Mr. Cochran's pancreas post-mortem. Okay. Now, as a general proposition, insulin controls the body's blood sugar levels. Is that true?
Yes.
Would you explain what hypoglycemia is?
Hypoglycemia means, in translation, low circulating sugar in blood.
Okay. So, some sort of pancreatic disorder in a normal person produces insulin, which controls the blood sugar. And if the blood sugar in the body is low, isn't that a definition of hypoglycemia, H-Y-P-O?
Yes.
And is it also true that when a person dies and decomposition sets in, that the pancreas, being an organ, an internal organ, is one of the first things to decompose?
Well, yes, because pancreas is also a very active exocrine gland producing procteolytic enzymes. And when the circulation stops, those cells break down and those enzymes leach out, and there is rapid autolysis and decomposition of pancreatic tissue.
Okay. And as a general proposition, internal organs, of which the pancreas is one, are the first things to break down or decompose post-mortem.
Well, it depends on the rate of preservation due to the ambient temperatures and other factors. But if you're looking at something that, like in this case, this will be the likely pattern of relatively progressive decomposition or internal organs and tissues primarily, and by that meaning the internal organs, and then ultimately what is left of the skin and subcutaneous tissue, and then the bony skeleton, because that lasts the most.
Okay, so internal organs break down first, then the external skin, things like that, and then last is the skeletal system. Is all of that correct? Okay. Did Dr. Kubitschek, in his report, mention anything about embalming?
No.
I want to kind of switch gears here and go into a discussion of Dr. Uribe's findings and his report. And you address those at the bottom of page 2. All right?
Yes.
Now, Dr. Uribe's exhuming of Michael's body and his subsequent report is based on the exhumed remains of Michael, which took place July 11, 2023, about 4 years after Michael's death. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what they've got out of him.
Can you comment on
you can't find the cause of death?
The greater or lesser extent of Michael Cochran's body? Was it more decomposed, less decomposed, or the same as when Dr. Kubitschek did his examination?
Well, certainly the decomposition progressed, and one would expect it to progress over so many years. And I believe that good Dr. Uribe said that the samples of decomposed human tissues cannot yield any reliable analysis.
Okay. So there was less to work with, less to examine in terms of toxicology, things like that, than there was about 3 years before when Dr. Kubitschek did his examination. Was that correct?
Well, I would say that there was nothing good, no good information coming from Dr. Kubitschek, and there could not have been any better coming from the second exhumation and autopsy that Dr. Uribe did.
Would it be a fair statement that when Dr. Uribe conducted his examination and findings, Michael Cochran's body was too decomposed to rule out important anatomic findings? Again, like infection, pancreatic tumors, and doing a complete toxicology.
Yes.
Dr. Uribe goes through his examinations, his reports, his reliance on other reports, especially Dr. Krieger's. And he comes up with Michael Cochran's death was a homicide. Can you comment on that?
Well,
let me ask you, first of all, according to your examination of everything, do you believe the evidence obtained through autopsies, reports, etc., would substantiate a finding of homicide as opposed to undetermined or undeterminable? Do you think Dr. Uribe was correct, or do you think Dr. Kubitschek was correct?
I sincerely believe that Dr. Kubitschek was more correct because he did provide the objective assessment and provided also the delimitation of forensic pathologists' capacity to make a determination on the basis of nothing. I think Dr. Uribe tried to marry the report with, again, negative findings, completely negative findings from both autopsies, and it made a claim of he might have believed what he said. However, for every such belief, there ought to be a factual evidentiary substantiation.
Okay, let me stop you right there. So, any manner and cause of death has to be substantiated by what? What did you say? Objective clinical findings.
I thought he almost objected to his own question.
Anatomical findings.
Okay.
Because we're talking of the autopsies here. So, objective, demonstrable anatomical findings that are tangible and understandable to everyone, leaving no doubt.
Do you believe that Dr. Uribe's opinion that the manner and cause of death are substantiated and resulted in a homicide, do you believe those findings, those ultimate findings in Dr. Uribe's report are based more on assumptions than the objective findings that you talked about?
I believe that there are no objective findings to substantiate Dr. Uribe's determination. His opinion is an attempt to bridge the gap of the unknown, and that bridge has to be created properly so that there is complete responsible understanding of everyone that is to use such a report.
Okay, that was his big answer.
Report and opinion based on acceptable anatomic and toxicological findings.
No.
I think they're almost done. He's basically trying to discredit the autopsy that was done 4 years later.
So it would be your statement that Dr. Uribe's findings as to Michael's death being a homicide, quote unquote, was not based on actual anatomic and toxicologic findings. Is that correct?
That is correct.
In the middle of the page, you discuss Dr. Krieger's report. And her investigation, reasoning, etc., resulted in her finding that Michael Cochran's hypoglycemia, in her opinion, was due to insulin administration, and she classifies that as a strong possibility. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Does the basic medical medical legal requirements, do they require accurate determinations of the cause and manner of death that are not based on a definite maybe, as Dr. Krieger states, but rather on a threshold beyond reasonable doubt? Isn't that the correct standard in this report?
Well, it is, because we're talking about death investigation, and also the discrepancy is, as I pointed out, Dr. Krieger is a phenomenal clinician, but Dr. Krieger is not burdened by the duty to define the cause and the manner of death. So the option that she provided is, in all fairness, a good suggestion for furthering the investigation, but the buck stops with forensic pathology, and the person has to provide to the public textual evidence as far as the cause of death and textual evidence about the manner of death. Because the administration of insulin being a strong possibility can come as a result of self-administration, administration by someone else, and then administration by self for the purpose of other things like bodybuilding and other combination of various substances, and resulting in accidental outcomes.
Kathy, thank you very much for gifting
And
5
her
memberships.
report doesn't include who might have injected this insulin, when it occurred, or how it occurred. Would that be a fair statement?
Well, it's a fair statement, but we have to understand that Dr. Krieger is not in the business of examining dead bodies.
Okay. On page 3, there's a paragraph that begins, when classifying the manner of death as a homicide, you state one has a professional obligation to substantiate that determination by reasonable, tangible evidence as someone's purposeful act. Would you explain the rest of that paragraph and your findings?
Well, you know, there has to be evidence about anything, and then that evidence has to be interpreted in a reasonable manner for everyone to understand. For example, it's very simple to say, well, gunshot wounds was the cause of death, and someone discharging the purposefully, obviously that's a purposeful act of firearm, caused it. Then you have a reasonable conclusion of the homicide and a reasonable demonstrable evidence. If someone takes a 2x4 and that's in someone's head and they die, then you have blunt force head trauma caused by 2x4, as obviously a demonstrable purposeful act because someone bashed someone's head. Or if someone had a knife and stabbed someone, thrusted the knife into someone's body once or multiple times, that's a purposeful act. If the individual dies of bleeding caused by that sharp force injury, it's very simple and demonstrable. But in a case like this, there is no information about all those critical circumstances, and one cannot make a certainty about the claim that there was injection, was it self-injection on to render someone dead, or self-injection to render someone more powerful, build up the greater muscle or something like that, which first would be a suicide, second would be an accident, or injection by someone else, about what we don't have any evidence that would be a homicide. And if we have to be certain about that before we issue a reasonable, congruent forensic opinion. And forensic opinion is a critical document that can provide the basis for further legal action or for no further legal action.
So in summary, do you believe Dr. Uribe's conclusion that Michael Cochran's death was a homicide is the correct conclusion?
If it cannot be substantiated, and he could not substantiate it by physical evidence, then it's not correct. And it is under a grave degree of doubt.
Okay. So, you agree with Dr. Kubitschek that the correct findings and conclusion is that the cause and manner of Michael Cochran's death is undetermined and undeterminable. Would that be a fair statement?
At this point, yes. And at the point of exhumation performed 7 months later, as they did at the time. I don't know what the results might have been had the autopsy been performed a day or two after his demise.
But as we sit here today, after reviewing everything, do you believe Michael Cochran's death was the manner and cause were undetermined and undeterminable?
Yes, sir.
Just as an aside, now your report is coming about 5 years after Michael Cochran's death. Would it have made any difference or been any benefit to exhume Michael Cochran's body a third time after all this passage of time so that you could personally conduct an autopsy? Would that have been of any benefit at all?
If I believed such a thing, I would have brought it up a long time ago whenever you called me to ask me to look at this case. But I don't think that that would be just a waste of resources for no good purpose, no valid purpose.
So that wouldn't change any of your findings that you've testified to today? Would that be correct?
That is correct.
Have all of your findings and the testimony you've given here today,
This is the last question, maybe.
do they meet the standard of others in your profession?
I firmly believe so.
That was the
They're to a reasonable
reasonable
degree
degree.
of medical certainty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If there were questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take our mid-morning break at this time. Members of the jury,
Please
we'll
wake
break
up.
for 10 or 15 minutes. Please do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. You may go with the bailiff to your jury room.
Oh, earthquake in New Hampshire? New Hampshire? And you felt it? Moon Age felt it? Wow, 1.4. We don't get as many on the East Coast. You Californians who could be like, that's like saying my alarm clock went off this morning. We get them a lot. The East Coast is a little different. You guys all felt it. Wow.
Your Honor, I probably should have done this before the jury left, but I did not actually move for the admission of Dr. Dragovich's report, I would like to move for its submission at this time.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant's number 11 will be admitted into evidence. Doctor, we're taking a 10-minute break, and you're welcome to take a break too and to wander away from the camera. Just be back, if you would, in 10 minutes.
Don't talk to anyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
I will do that.
Shall we go on a walkabout? Pauline, welcome to the gallery. Thank you so much. Love the orange courthouse. Felt my first and second ever quakes last summer out here in Texas. I didn't see that episode. All right. We're talking about earthquakes now. Let's see. Remote witnesses are horrible on the ears. Okay, the reason why that particular witness was particularly horrible was for this reason. He was remote, which means it was over Zoom. But instead of just using Zoom audio, we used his cell phone, which was on speakerphone. That degrades the quality a little bit. We used the courtroom's phone system, which is also on speakerphone. And then we tried to pick it up. And he talks he has somewhat of an accent. Let's put it, I don't know how to put that any more plainly than that. So we had 3 strikes, but now he's out. I don't know what cross the state's going to do. They didn't challenge his designation as an expert. But I've never seen 111 times that I taught a class, a one-day class in Police Academy, Police Citizens Academy, listed on experts CV before. It was an echoey room. Okay, we're gonna get a little break. I'm gonna play some music. I want to play some music. It's early in the morning, but let's see. Where do my songs go? All right, we're getting there slowly. Library. Okay, let's take a tiny little break because I have to run and go talk to my wife really quickly and make sure everything's on schedule. She was up so early this morning. Like, she woke up, she's like, "Okay, breakfast ready in 50 minutes." I'm like still in bed, and that's the first thing I remember hearing. News says it was a 4.4. Whoa! That's a little bit bigger. 1.4 versus a 4.4. Now I can see why you guys are feeling the quake. We're going to do, I think Gray is the New Green is a good song for this morning. Happy Monday. Let's make sure we're not bringing in any other audio we don't want.
In the land of pixels, here we meet. Gray's the color of our simple seats. No flashy lights, no fancy scheme. It's low-key love in a cyber dream. Slow-mo to life, we're taking it easy. Calm in the chat, everything looks breezy. No golden throne, no crown on screen. Yet still I feel like royalty unseen. Gray is the new green, don't you know? In the digital glow, we take it slow. No need for emotion, vivid green lights up the scene. A ticket to a world unseen. But here in gray, we find our creed. No extra flair, just what we need. No temp seats, no quick retreats, just hanging out in these cyber streets. Gray dust clouds, our silent beam, a hidden treasure in the live stream. Gray is the new green, don't you know? In a digital glow, we take it slow. No need for emojis or special code. We're riding high on this mellow road.
I almost, it was so close. It started Fur Missile Frenzy right as I got back. I tried to time that perfectly, but not. Sorry, I was gonna go pet Kiki as well, but it's cold out there and I didn't have my socks and shoes on. All right, she hasn't testified yet. My new favorite song. How many people are counting buttons? Get your guesses in. Let's do that. Let's the button contest is running right now. It is going. We have modified the rules a little bit. So everyone, if you made your initial guess, you can click that same link. You can go back to it and make 2 more guesses. So you would get a total of 3. If you haven't made your initial guess, you get 3 guesses. We have not had a winner yet, although somebody is within 1. So how do we enter? Right here. You click that link and just read the instructions and fill in the blanks. And then Amber's going to let us know the first person to guess the right number. And if we get, like most people have guessed, and we're not getting any more entries really, we're going to end the contest, and the closest person, the first person who was the closest wins. I want to research this earthquake. Let me check social media, see what's going on out there. All right. One guy says, my wife was on a Zoom call. Everyone in the Northeast all left at the same time saying there was an explosion. Seeing reports of a 4.1 just off the coast. Looks like the exact epicenter is just sort of east off the coast of Concord, New Hampshire. I mean, Concord's not on the coast, but just go straight east of there. My day started with an earthquake. It's near Portsmouth. It was the center. Josh, you sent the link. Thank you. Thank you. I think we might have time to watch it right now. What do you think? Oh, it's only a 10-minute break. Oh, man. I wasted too much time. It's just this whole clip. Okay. Let's do this. Give me a second to bring in my feeds a little bit differently. Okay. 3 is ready. We'll bring 2 in with this one. All right, Josh, hang on one sec. It was how long? $6.46. Got 651, 659. One day ago. Okay, Josh, hang on. I'm trying to find it. 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, 23 hours ago, 1 day ago. Got it. All right, we found it, Josh. We found it. It took some work, but I found it. We are on break right now. We're just waiting for the court to return. We're listening. If anything happens, we'll bring it to you. But currently, it's just this. So let me go ahead and start this one and record it in. Okay, I don't have time to play the whole thing. I'm recording it in right now in case it gets pulled down. I've had several earthquakes about 6 miles away from the epicenter in the last year. A bit weird for sure. Maybe we get like an East Coast volcano. I mean, that would be terrible. That's not a good thing. But isn't there sometimes volcanic activity that coincides with earthquakes? No winner on the button contest yet. Anyone closer? Well, no one's going to be closer than one. But solar flares. When you're closing the button count, I think it's going to be early this week. Amber, I'll sort of play it by ear. You let me know what the frequency of guesses coming in are. Once it dies off, we might just close it out. No, I don't want a volcano. Volcanoes scare the daylights out of me. I used to live on a fault. I mean, when I say a fault, they pinpoint the location and said that it went through our house. Like the fault line like went through right our house. And I was on one end of the house. So I'm pretty sure I was either on the fault line, or if there was an earthquake and it did shear at that point, I would be on one side and the rest of the house would be on the other. Scary stuff. It was a split ranch house. We've only had 463 people guess how many buttons so far. Just want to know how many buttons in the land of RA that you have to press. It just seems astronomical. There are a lot. And I'm hopefully going to be getting some more. All right, we'll go back to court here in just a second. Let me let's do super source. Box 2 is going to be 3. Oh, look, we got a new view. We get the clock. It's a nice clock, too. All right, coming back.
Are there any matters that we need to discuss out of the presence of the jury?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Anything from the state?
Excuse me, nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right. Bring in the jury.
Jury's coming in.
You're still with us, Dr. Dragovich?
Unfortunately. Oh, did I say that out loud?
All right.
Let's see if defense even wants to cross him. I think they will. I think they'll have to, because he rebuts 2 of their witnesses. Oh, there's going to be a can we approach? Yeah. Can we approach, right? As soon as the jury gets here. Weezer, I can't give any hints because there are people who might not have guessed yet, and it would make it unfair for them if I gave a hint and then they got to make a guess after having more information than everyone else.
Hold on to this. We'll discuss it after.
Comes the jury. I think this was the expert that had to call in before. Is that the same one?
Very well. We continue now with cross-examination from the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Dragovic, can you see me and hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Sure.
Ma'am.
In your report, you stated that Michael took an excessive amount of enclomiphene citrate. Is that right?
I couldn't hear this part. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. In your report, you stated that Michael Cochran took an excessive amount of enclomiphene citrate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Where did that information come from?
From the materials that I reviewed. I believe that was the account that was provided by his spouse.
Okay. Were you aware that that substance was tested by the FBI?
Again, it's something I've learned. Was I aware of what?
That substance had been tested by the FBI?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. That hasn't been established yet. There's no reference to what substance, how it was
It was that substance.
achieved, anything about
Super quiet here. Hang
the
on.
specifics.
Your Honor, that has been established. It has been brought into evidence already with both of the FBI gentlemen that testified here. And You heard Lieutenant Bledsoe testify that he received that bottle from Donna Bolt, who advised that she received it from the defendant.
Objections overruled.
Going to crank up the volume here.
Again so that the witness can hear.
Dr. Dragovich, were you aware that the bottle of eclomethine citrate provided by the defendant was tested by the FBI?
No.
So you were not aware that that bottle was actually found to contain letrozole and not enclomiphene citrate?
Oops.
No. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. I do not know.
In your
approach the bench, Your Honor.
All right.
Do we count that as an objection? Do we count that as an objection? Is that 106 or is that 107? Okay. There we go. We're counting that one. First objection of the day comes from the defense. Help, Judge. They're destroying our witnesses' credibility. That can't be allowed. Prosecution shaking their heads. Defense making a case. Judge is listening intently. Yes, the defendant does get to approach the bench. There we have her two kids, daughter and her son. Flanked by grandma and I think a cousin. Is that right? The lady right behind the son is with the production crew. She's got some equipment hidden behind him. It's not a camera. That's a monitor screen she's got. Now the judge, hearing the argument from the other side, from the prosecution, wonder if this is all over whether or not the FBI testified to this or not. And I remember they did. They testified that it was a different substance on the inside of the bottle. Yep, still there. Sometimes I check my head to make sure it's attached as well. Camera's wandering. It's a long sidebar. Defense's posture, pocket square guy, with his posture seems to show that they might be winning this one. Golden Girl coming in with the 24-month membership message. I'm going to be a grandma again, finding out tonight if it's a boy or a girl. That is awesome. Congratulations, Golden Girl. Long time supporter. You've won the internet a time or two as well. That is awesome. Congratulations. Do let us know either way. Congratulations. see if this turns into a proffer or what, but looks like the defense is winning this. Now, the three smart people on this topic put their heads together. Do get your guess in quickly. Don't put it off, because we might call it quits. And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, I was going to." Well, you had the chance. You've had the chances. Been a couple days here. Get your guesses in. They've passed that back and forth a number of times. Judge sits down. He's done. He's like, "Why are you still here?" Oh, okay, fine. I'll get back up. Is there another problem? Go sit down. Our seat's over there. You too. He set a firm end time for the contest. What if I say in 10 minutes? No, I'd want it longer than that. If you already put one guess in, you click the same link, and the link will pull up, and it will have the Edit My Responses button. And you click that, and you can add 2 more guesses. So everyone get your 3 guesses in. There's no excuse. Ooh.
Certainly.
I think they're looking at his report, his 3-page report. I'm curious. Amber's watching court and the responses as they come in. That'd be cool to be able to see that, Amber. I wish I had that ability. Apparently I do. I just don't know how to do it.
All right, let's continue now, please, Ms. Acorn.
Dr. Dragovich, in your review of the records, did you see any evidence that indicated letrozole or even enclomiphene citrate overdose or usage?
Not that I remember. No, ma'am.
And where did you get the information that Michael had a seizure?
The hospital, right?
Do you know where that initially came from in your review of the records?
Well, it would be also from the account that the file was provided at the time of the efficiency.
And were you aware of any seizures being observed in the hospital setting?
It seems to me that there were some, but I don't remember specifically every page from the medical records, man.
That's okay, I understand. It was a lot of records. Did anything in the medical records substantiate that Michael had a seizure that you recall?
Again, I don't have the materials in front of me, so I can't recall specifically. There was multiplied reference of encephalopathy, but it seems to me that there were references to seizures, either as historical, being presented at the time, or happening there. But I cannot. It's all blurred now in my mind. I'm sorry.
Okay. In your report, you stated that there was evidence that Michael had a head injury. Is that right?
Yes, that was also from the account upon arrival to the hospital.
Was there any evidence that you recall in the actual medical records that indicate that a traumatic head injury had occurred?
No. That was not addressed in the medical records.
And in your report, you also stated that the defendant was the one who took the deceased to the hospital. Would it surprise you to know that that was not accurate based on the testimony we've heard?
I lost the couple of words there. You got blurred. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
Sure. In your report, you stated that the defendant was actually the one who took Michael Cochran to the hospital. Do you recall that? I think we might be having some connectivity issues, Judge.
Are you having difficulty hearing the question, Doctor?
Either connectivity or cognitive.
I'm looking at the at my second page there, and yes, that was my impression that Natalie Cochran brought him to Raleigh General Hospital.
Raleigh.
Would it surprise you to know, Doctor, that based on the evidence we've received, the defendant actually allowed Mr. Cochran to lay on the couch for 7 to 8 hours, and a friend actually transported him to the hospital later that day?
That may be the case. I mean, I was not there. I only put what I read was the information I had in order to kind of gain what was happening at a time.
This is brilliant. So if the information you read was wrong.
Your report indicates that Mr. Cochran's initial blood glucose at Raleigh General was 76, followed by a next reading of 24. Is that right?
Yes.
However, the evidence actually indicates that the initial blood glucose on arrival was 21. So where in the records did you locate that information?
Now he's
I
discredited.
can't tell you off the top of my head, but I know for the fact that there were references to low blood glucose. And what particular level was at the time of particular hospital admission, I cannot recall now.
Yeah, he's
Doctor, did you review the MRI of Michael Cochran's brain that was obtained at CAMC on 2/8/19?
No, but I read the report, and there was evidence of encephalopathy there.
In that report, isn't it true that the diagnosis was actually diffuse hypoglycemic encephalopathy?
Yes, that was written in, yes.
And what does that indicate to you, Doctor?
I'm sorry?
What does that indicate to you, that diagnosis?
The diagnosis indicates that there is a hypoglycemic encephalopathy, and that's the point of organization of trying to treat the condition and also to find out why and how this encephalopathy occurred.
Doctor, in your professional opinion, is a blood glucose of 21 compatible with life?
It may or may not be, depending on how fast one reacts to correcting its level of circulating glucose.
And just very briefly, was it your testimony that, just so I understand, that tumor tissue would decompose more slowly than normal organ tissue?
Well, certain tumor tissues that are so-called solid tumors in certain tissues and organs of the body may be undergoing slower decomposition because they're harder than the surrounding quote unquote normal tissue. So that can happen, and I've seen that in my practice pretty regularly. I've seen extremely decomposed body of an individual falling apart, and yet tumor nodules sticking out because they decompose slowly. It depends on the nature of the tumor.
Now, Dr. Uribe and Dr. Krieger were not given the benefit of reviewing one another's reports prior to creating their reports, but you were able to review both of their reports in creating yours. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were hired by the defense, is that correct?
I was contacted by defense. That's correct, yes. And they asked me to...
It's not a trick question, doctor, I promise. I'm not trying to trip you up in any way. Were you compensated for generating a report in this matter, or will you be?
No, I was not. I am certainly not compensated for the time here because this is my taxpayer time, and my government will send a bill to the lawyers for today. But I think I had about 14 to 16 hours of time put in this, so that was obviously my work after hours. So I will bill for that at my government rate, which is $250 per hour.
$250.
Now, when you were creating the report that you generated in this matter, did you initially provide defense counsel with a draft report?
I believe I sent a draft to see if there was anything else that needed to be added to it.
And did you make changes to your report based on commentary that you received?
Your Honor, please note an ongoing objection to this line of questioning.
Very well. It will be preserved.
Yes.
I am not sure that I made much in a way, some type of errors because my secretary made some typographic errors, but there might have been something added. I will have to look back and try to compare that and give you the exact answer. But substantial changes, no, of course not.
Is it true that you were asked to go into more detail as to how Drs. Uribe and Dr. Krieger were wrong in that draft report?
No, let me explain something. I don't believe that I ever said anything about Dr. I don't want to butcher her name, Krieger. Dr. Krieger's report is clinically accurate report. I have no arguments with that report. Well, I have no arguments with Dr. Uribe except for his opinion. If Dr. Uribe, who is my colleague, presented any tangible evidence, I would have not have any opposing opinion. But there wasn't anything, and a forensic pathologist is there to interpret evidence. If there is no evidence, there is nothing to interpret, man.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like this to be marked as the state's next exhibit.
It will be State's Exhibit number 32, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Is this his original, his draft? Is this not work product? So he's denied there's any changes, denied that he was told to go back and make it more confrontational when it's considering the findings of previous autopsies.
Your Honor, I would also move for the admission of States 32.
They're going to object.
32 is the draft.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Ongoing
Any
objection.
further objections?
Yes, Your Honor. Just a moment.
What's our objection? What's our objection?
I object to the admission of this exhibit.
All right.
On what grounds?
I'll admit it over the defense objections, and I'll preserve the defendant's objections.
Look, everyone's hands on their mouth. Defense is not doing well here. This is a big L for them. They might as well have their
Dr.
hand on their
Dragovich,
forehead.
in your professional opinion, what killed Michael Cochran?
I don't know.
So you don't believe that the profound hypoglycemia or the swelling on his brain caused by the hypoglycemia contributed to his death in any way?
I'm going to object to that question. There's no evidence that his hypoglycemia caused the swelling of his brain. That's a mischaracterization of the evidence.
Your Honor, the diagnosis on that MRI is diffuse hypoglycemic encephalopathy.
I'll overrule the objection. You may continue. Ask the question again, Ms. Akron.
Dr. Dragovich, the question was, you do not believe that the decedent's profound hypoglycemia or the significant swelling on his brain caused by that hypoglycemia led to his death?
I would think that's one of the components, but why and how it happened and what the proximate causes are have not been defined whatsoever. So the autopsy did not reveal anything along the line, and it did not show that on brain examination that there was anything but decomposition changes according to the autopsy report.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I have no
down.
further questions.
You're welcome, man.
Redirect, Mr. Selden.
Yes, Your Honor. Can I have just a moment?
Sure.
See if they can save some ground here. Look at the frustration. Arms folded on the chest. Well, I'm not going to say you hired a quack, but you didn't hire the best guy in the room, and it seems like he missed things and made some assumptions. Eyebrow from the defendant. Let's see how they try to claw back some credibility here. Sounds like he wrote his report mostly based on what the defendant said.
I believe that I would like a continuing objection to the last state's exhibit, the alleged draft report. And I believe that there were questions as to whether Dr. Dragovich had received it, what information was exchanged, and Dr. Dragovich, at this point, has not seen this particular exhibit as entered by the state. I believe procedurally he would have to see this exhibit before we proceed further on it.
Well, he referenced it in his testimony, and I've given you a running objection. I've preserved your exceptions, and I'll continue to do so.
All right, first of all, I would like to get the state's last exhibit.
All right, it should be up here with the clerk.
So I have an objection to this exhibit, but since you're going to allow it, I'm going to use it and see if I can save something. They're not happy. They're not happy. He wrote it. Whoa. Okay.
Dr. Dragovich,
the witness
I'm
should
going to
have
ask you
written
some
this.
questions on this last state's exhibit, which is stamped draft on it. Okay?
Draft. Do not read. Do not show to prosecution. Draft only.
And I admit that I prepared this, or you prepared this draft report. I received it, and I made some notations on it.
Whoa.
Given that, I'm going to go through these alleged changes.
He has to admit that he suggested these things.
I circled your initial submission date of December 12th of 2024, and I asked you to change the date to January 6th of 2025 because that's when you submitted your final version of this report.
Okay, no problem there.
Would you remember that, or does that seem correct to you?
I would object to the
That
leading.
seems correct, yes.
Okay.
Object to the leading.
Shame on you, sir.
Who did that? Sherry Smith. That was shame on you.
On the second page of this draft report, I circled a date that you had listed as February 16th, 2019, as the date when Michael Cochran's seizures first started around noon. I corrected that because that was an incorrect date. I notated that the correct date was not February 16th, but February 6th of 2019. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that was a typographic error on the part of my typist here.
My typist.
They're trying to type up a load of report daily, and these things happen. So anything that's wrong tends to be corrected.
Okay. And I circled the word ALL and pointed out that was a typographical error. It should be FALL for fall, not all. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
3 typos.
In one line, you're talking about some information that was relayed. You put your client, and I circled that and asked you to clarify it to Natalie Cochran. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, why is he allowed to lead like a horse to water?
In the second paragraph on that page, I circled a representation in that report that Michael Cochran's suspicious circumstances of his death triggered an investigation that resulted in an exhumation and an autopsy, and you had 8 months. I corrected that to 7 months. Was that correction proper?
Yes, sir.
So dates were off.
On the last
counts
page,
were off.
in the third paragraph, you end that paragraph with the word infant. I circled that and put a notation to admit it. Michael Cochran was not an infant. Is that correct?
Yes, I was puzzled by that word, but I didn't want to go back to my secretary and criticize her for putting a word that didn't belong. But at the end of the sentence, I don't know, maybe she was typing several reports simultaneously, who knows.
Okay,
She typed several reports simultaneously.
That correction, you said it was because your secretary maybe was in a hurry, whatever. That doesn't change the substance of your report at all, does it?
No, those are the typographic errors. They are, I suppose, inevitable when one does the work. Only people that don't do anything do not make any mistakes. Mistakes tend to be corrected. That's it.
Okay. And in the next to the last paragraph,
Oh my goodness. He never makes a mistake, but that's what happens when people, if you don't do anything, you don't ever make mistakes.
You're talking about Dr. Krieger and
secretary's
Dr.
fault.
Uribe's mischaracterization, or their findings are not credible or well-reasoned. I simply made a notation in that paragraph, and I asked,
Here it is.
can you go into more detail as to how Drs. Uribe and Krieger are wrong? You did make that representation in your report earlier, did you not?
I did.
Okay, so am I asking you to change your report? Am I asking you to do anything that would affect your conclusions?
No, sir.
So we changed the date.
As to your eventual final report, do any of these changes affect your conclusions, the validity, anything in your reasoning?
Absolutely not, sir.
Return
All
the
right.
exhibit. So, first of all, their expert submitted this draft with the word infant at the end. He's like, well, she put it on there. I don't want to criticize her and have her retype it, so I'm just going to submit it like that. This is terrible. She's a super secretary. She types 3 things at once.
You were not present when there was witness testimony or Drs. Uribe and Dr. Krieger gave their testimony. You didn't hear any of that testimony. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. There were some questions directed about the enclophamine vial. I submit that that enclophamine vial was given to the FBI by Michael
objection?
Cochran's mother, Donna. Does that information change anything in your report or cause you any concern about your conclusions?
No.
And it's true, is it not, that Michael Cochran's medical records contain previous seizures that occurred in October 31st through the first week or two in November. That's documented in the medical records, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And I believe there was some mischaracterization about Natalie Cochran driving Michael to the hospital and some misrepresentations about that. The testimony
To characterizing the prosecution's questions as mischaracterization and misrepresentation.
Sustained.
The previous testimony that in this case shows that although Natalie Cochran herself didn't drive the car to the hospital, she was in the car with Michael, with other people, when Michael was taken to the hospital. Would that information change anything in your report and your conclusions at all?
No, sir.
One moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge sounds pleasantly amused by this. Okay. Mr. Victor has been mostly quiet today. Maybe he's up next.
Dr. Drakovich, there were some questions by the prosecution about who hired you, who's paying your bills, etc. Would it interest you to know that Natalie Cochran's representation is court appointed and the state of West Virginia would be paying any of your billings? Do you understand that?
It's like, doesn't matter to me.
I did not know the particulars. There's no difference whatsoever. As I said, in criminal cases, I apply for my time after hours, my government rate. My government rate is $2.50 per hour, and for this testimony, you'll be getting an invoice from my government for these several hours, and for the rest of the hours,
from my government?
I'll be sending you the invoice for that same, based on that
from my
same
business.
rate.
Would any of the questions on cross-examination change your conclusion that the cause and manner of Michael Cochran's death is undetermined and undeterminable?
No, sir.
And in answer to the prosecutor's question, what killed Michael Cochran, you simply stated you don't know. And all of that reasoning is in your report. Is that correct?
That is correct. And consequences are also correct in the medical record and in the radiographic imaging. But the cause and the manner are not and cannot be defined on the basis of that.
I have no more questions.
Anything further, Ms. Acorn?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any reason to hold Dr. Dragovich?
Not on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Not.
Thank you very much, Doctor. You are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
He's trying to drag out the billing hours. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it. I'm just going to hang up now, right now. I'll be done in just a minute. I really enjoyed being here.
All right. Come up, please.
Get up here, says the judge. Get up here. We're going to do a quick switch to 2. Boom. There we go. I like the colors better on this feed. So in case you missed it, I'm super excited about a new technology that is about to come out that will enable me to configure cameras here and then send them out and about around places, and all they have to do is be plugged in, and I'll immediately get the feed right back to here. I can take it as if it's a camera in my room, so I can switch to it. It's awesome. It's awesome. FBI thing was wowza. Yes, Natalie does go up to the sidebars. She's allowed to.
Members of the jury, we're going to take a little bit of an early lunch break. If all goes well, your pizza will arrive a little bit before noon, so you'll have a few minutes to get ready for it. And this will not be cheap pizza. This will be top-of-the-line pizza from Pasquale's for your enjoyment.
Not
and there will be
sponsor.
several types of pizzas to accommodate your various tastes. So it will be along, and we will have the bailiff deliver it to you in your jury room as soon as it arrives. Just
Pasquale's
be
pizza.
patient if you would. We'll start up at maybe 15 till 1. and that'll give us some time to relax for lunch. Please do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else, and you may go with the bailiff to your jury room.
Pasquale's has locations in Aspinwall, Dravosburg, Ferguson Road, Penn Hills, Route 8, and Wilmerding, all Pennsylvania. Looking at the menu now, I'm going to have to go to Pennsylvania. I guess, they each have different menus. Whoa, that's interesting. Spaghetti and meatballs, cheese ravioli, chicken parmesan.
All right, are there any further matters that we need to take up at this time out of the presence of the jury?
Nothing on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Nothing on behalf of the defense, Your Honor.
All right, we'll start back up at 15-1.
And with that, they're done for a little bit. We're going to watch a little break. We've got an intermission, got lunch and everything. Okay, couple things. Let's go here. I'm looking. Do you see this menu? Their menu looks amazing. 3 large topping pizzas, $33 plus tax. 3 extra large, 1 topping pizzas, $39 plus tax. Those are also 1 toppings, I guess. How do you get 3 large for 30? I guess, yeah, it's a $6 difference. Let's see. Show me the pizzas. Pizza. Extra large pizza. Plain is $13.50. Toppings are $2 each. Huh. Yeah, the jury's going to fall asleep this afternoon, I'm pretty sure. You can either get like a personal, small, large, extra large, or Sicilian. What they serve. I'm now going to have to do some research and travel there. Has anyone been there? Apparently they serve good pizza. If the judge is willing to put it on the record. They're little tiny stores. Some of those are the best. Only 6 locations. Can't find a great pizza in your neighborhood? Own a Pasquale's. There are franchise opportunities. I'll click that button. They're in West Virginia. You're looking in Pennsylvania. I'm in the wrong state. Okay, hang on. Pasquale's in West Virginia. Beckley? Voted best in Beckley. It's completely different. I don't think it's connected to the same company. When are we going to break for lunch, Judge? I had to go to PA now I have to go to PA and West Virginia. Lunch special sandwiches, salads, and more. Dinner. Soup, salad, bread, pasta, pizza. 16-inch pizza, $19.30. Pepperoni, onions, mushrooms, meatballs, sausage, black olives, green peppers, and banana peppers. This one doesn't look as appetizing. It doesn't have pictures either. All right, we're gonna watch court really quickly. We've got a little tiny case that Josh sent us, which I will see if we can. Let's see. Let's pull up here. That's gonna be camera 6.
Low cash and surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
If it's any money,
thank you.
I can't.
Be given a low PR bond or low cash and surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
If it's any money, I can't afford it. Let's just say that. I ain't got nothing, and y'all ain't give me any tools to get a job since I've been released from your guys' care. Now, I don't really know what's going on with my support system, but it's
This is my turn to talk, Mr. Mullins. Okay, you don't want to talk about that because, like I said, you might say something that can be used against you. So the court's going to look at 2 things, Mr. Mullins. I'm going to look at whether or not you're a flight risk and whether or not you are a danger to the public. In regards to that, I'm going to look at your criminal history. I'm going to look at the allegations. I'm going to look at your ties to the community, your employment status. You live with your parents. I look at all of those to determine 2 things. I do have a concern for the safety of the public. On the matter that I arranged you on first, the arson. You are presumed innocent, but as I look at the allegations, it presents a concern to the court for the safety of you and any other individuals that reside in that location. I understand that would be your parents.
1995.
Okay,
Trust me.
this is my turn, sir. Okay, so based on that, I'm not going to grant you a PR bond because I don't find that that is sufficient to ensure your appearance as well as protect the public, as specifically here your parents. The court is going to set a cash surety bond on this of $10,000 to ensure your appearance and her safety.
Whoa.
We're not done yet, sir. Okay, now, first of all, the condition of your release is do not miss any court dates and do not violate any state or local laws while you're on bond. You're not to possess, purchase, or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a prescription, and you're not to leave the state of Michigan without permission from the court. You also are not allowed to possess or purchase any firearms, ammunition, or dangerous weapons, and you will have to report to pretrial services so that they can set up any pretrial supervision that may be necessary. That's either a phone or an in-person interview. Now, I'm also going to tell you, you cannot have any contact with Daniel Mullins and or Barbara Mullins. You cannot call, write, page, email, text, no electronic communications of any kind. You can't have anybody else contact them on your behalf, and no threatening, harassing, or molesting behavior towards them or anyone else. Additionally, you cannot go within 2,000 feet of where they're located at any time, including work, home, or school. So what that means is if you have property there, someone can go and get your property and get it for you, but you cannot go there and you can't have any contact at all. Also, you're unable to give me an address at this point. So if you are released, you have 24 hours to notify the public defender's office of the address where you're staying. If you don't do that within the 24 hours, the court then sets a bench warrant for you. Do you understand that?
Greeners, that was so close.
Do you understand what I'm telling you, Mr. Mullins?
Earth to Mullins.
I understand that our system's broken and I'm just a little cog chilling. Hi, I'm Cog. Nice to meet y'all.
Okay, all right, let's go over the other file.
That's a sound bite.
Then. This is,
Cog.
again, the 24-03520. Judge Simmons has ordered that you be remanded on that case file because you failed to appear for the probable cause conference. So you will not be released before that hearing that is to be set. Do you understand?
Yeah, y'all tweaking.
All right.
You guys know I have no clue what the hell y'all are doing. You have no details. You're making a bunch of judgments on very, 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 very misguided details. And the frail line understanding that you understand.
You're going to talk with your attorney.
What's the Rotary Club? Who am I? Do you guys know who I am? My name's Jacob Evan Mullins. You guys know who I am. That's crazy. You guys are playing silly ass games.
Did you have anything else?
I do not, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I am going to order a CMH evaluation on that new file as well.
All right. That. That's about the one good thing you've done today, and it's not your fault. You're an amazing person, I'm sure, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or I'm a frustrated individual. So let me just say, I'm sorry for the disrespect. I know it's not your fault necessarily, but this is just a large structure. So I'll end that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You're all set, sir.
Appreciate it.
Wow. She was not hurt by his insults, nor was she plussed by his apology. She's like, yeah, whatever, next. Y'all are amazing. It's the system that's broken. I'm just a cog. Hi, I'm Cog. Yeah, that's going to be a soundbite. We're going to pull that one in. Because the audio is so clear. Oh, it's so good. We have 1 hour for lunch. Before we go to lunch, we're going to talk just briefly about the button game. And you know what's going to be exclamation point cogs, what's going to trigger it. Despite all his rage, he's still just a rat in a cage. That's funny. Love that song. Which makes for a good judge, yes. I missed the first part. How did I miss the first part? Stop. Rewind. Hit play again.
To be given a low PR bond.
That's when it started. That's when the feed came in. Claimed you didn't speak English. Is there another link? Oh man. Okay, well, we'll see if there's more to that one we can bring in. All right, here's what we're going to be. Let's talk a bit about the button game because it is going to wrap up soon. I don't know if it's going to be, today or tomorrow, but we are going to. Law Talk with Mike has all of it. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if we're going to wrap it up today or tomorrow, but it's going to be here soon. If you have not got your guess in, just know this is just a fun game, and there's a good chance that I, out of the goodness of my heart, may gift to the winner a prize equal to, I don't know, a year's worth of membership on the channel. So it's worth winning. It's worth winning. And of course, that would be in a form that you could then use and however you wanted. We'll discuss it with the winner. But out of the goodness of my tax return, no, it's just out of the goodness. I don't even know how to write that off. I'm so nervous about what this does to my taxes. Contests are just they're terrible. They're terrible for taxes. My accountant will probably slap my hand and then my face. Doesn't even have a real designated prize for this contest. Right. I don't, because I'm afraid if I do, then it would open me up to some sort of liability or law that I have to follow. So how many buttons you have? Yes, how many buttons we have here? And we've got keyboards, we've got remotes. We have speed editors. We have all the buttons, and you've got to count them all. So there's some more down there, but poor Spencer's like, oh, I was way off. I was in single digits. Yeah, you're off. Do you think you'll do the button count? I was late today. I've done the button count. I know how many I have, but. Click the link right here if you have not made a guess. You get to submit one entry, and each entry has 3 guesses. If you submitted an entry and it just had 1 guess, click this link again, go to edit your responses, and put all 3 answers in. You code it under gifts. I know, but how do I track it and record it? Yeah. Was the answer more or less than you thought it would be? There's always not enough buttons. Greeners, I always need more buttons. By the way, congratulations, Greeners dropped a super chat, which is funny because it came in on the. Sometimes things come in on both channels on the live. It came in on the new live stream, which we're going to portal to in just a minute. But after lunch, we're going to have a little 1 hour break. For lunch, then we're going to be back with I think witness 2 and 3 for defense, which I don't know how many more they have. Is she gonna take the stand? We'll find out after lunch here. But Amber, I've stalled for you, but you didn't call. I guess you must be busy. So if you wanted to call about the buttons, we can do that right now. All right. Live. Go to mod chat. I sent the full video. Okay, hang on. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. If we missed part of this, I want to catch it. It's 6:51 from yesterday. Okay, let's start right. Let's start right here. Let's catch this here.
Public access. We also record it. However, any other.
Okay. Let's forward a little bit further. She's giving her a big spiel in the morning. There we go. Okay, Josh, we're trying to find the whole thing from the beginning because I didn't get the part where he doesn't speak. Oh, there he is. Doesn't speak English. Drops his papers on the floor. Makes a grand.
Mr. Mullins, I need you to stand all the way up at the table. Thank you. All right. Good morning to you. Are you Jacob Edwin Mullins?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Feigelson, if you would enter your appearance, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson on behalf of Mr. Mullins, who's present by way of video conferencing this afternoon.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Mullins, this is a felony complaint indicating on or about January 24th of 2025 at 216 East Thomas Street, Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan. Sir, count 1 alleges that you did willfully and maliciously burn, damage, or destroy by fire or explosive personal property with a value of $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000. That is contrary to law. It is a felony, carries a maximum penalty of 5 years and or $10,000 or 3 times the value of the property damaged or destroyed, whichever is greater. Do you understand the charge and the maximum penalty, Mr. Mullins?
I understand your perspective of what occurred and outside
well,
of
hang
that.
on. Before you go too far, this is just what's written on the paper. You are presumed innocent. Let me finish, okay? And you'll understand why I'm saying this. You are presumed innocent. So we want to make sure that you don't say anything today that can be used against you. So when you get to talk with your attorney in private, that's when you're going to want to talk about what happened or didn't happen. I can only tell you what the charge is and the penalty is, and then you'll talk to your attorney and they will help you prepare a defense against the charge. Does that make sense?
I'm 29 years old. I understand. Like, you know what I mean? I get it, bro.
Good. Okay. All right.
Sure,
then, Mr. Mullins, you understand the charge and the maximum penalty. You don't have to agree to it. You just understand. Right. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. No disrespect.
Okay. Perfect.
No disrespect.
All right. Now, you do have rights as well. You have the right to plead guilty, not guilty, or stand mute. You have the right to a trial by a judge or a jury, and at that trial, you can present or confront witnesses. If they would not appear, the court can order them to do so. You also have the right to a lawyer, and if you cannot afford one can be appointed for you at court expense. Additionally, you are presumed innocent, as I said earlier, and if you are found guilty, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. You also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or write can be used against you.
Say or write.
And you always have the right to have a lawyer present with you at any time that you are questioned. Do you understand those rights, Mr. Mullins?
You said read anything you say or write can be used against you? Did you say that?
Yes, I did say that. Yes, sir.
Speak English on that one, but everything else, yes.
Okay, good. All right, then Is he applying for an attorney today, Mr. Feigelson?
Yes, he is. He presently works with our office on another matter, Your Honor.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Mullins, what we're going to do is we have 2 hearings set for you on this. The probable cause conference, which is the first hearing, that is February 6th. That's at 8:30 a.m. with Judge Simmons. Excuse me, you are allowed to appear remotely on that, so that's why you will have a colored sheet. I think it's kind of a bluish green. Yep. Okay, you should have that, so you can appear February 6th at 8:30 a.m. remotely or in person. The second hearing is a preliminary exam. You have to appear in person for that. That's on the 6th floor of City Hall, courtroom 4, and that's February 13th at 8:30 a.m., also with Judge Simmons. So you've got the notice and the Zoom instructions, correct?
Yes.
Good, good. Okay. Now, is there anything I've told you so far that you do not understand?
The one thing I didn't speak English on, yeah, but other than that, yes, everything else I did. I'm an artist.
Okay.
I'm writing a lot of things, so when I write stuff, it's like almost like, you know what I mean? So that's just a arbitration contract thing that I didn't like. So I mean, we'll settle through that. So I would like to just voice that. Other than
We
that,
can
no
just
disrespect.
move
Yes.
forward, sir. Appreciate the...
Correct.
Yeah.
Look,
You'll talk
would you like
about
to
that
go
with
into
your attorney, absolutely.
arbitration
Okay,
about my
so,
rights?
Mr. Mullins, I'm going to stop the live stream so that I can protect your...
Okay, so that was the first part. We missed it. So now you have to put them back together. We watched one and then the other. So, wow. He didn't like the anything you write can be used against you. He wanted anything you say or do can be used against you. And he's like, well, I'm an artist. Don't use my art against me. Wow. Fun. All right. We are rapidly, I don't know why my computer is shut down. It might be, I showed you a keyboard. I think I hit the power off button. Of course, now it's not coming to. What did I do to shut off the, no mouse, no nothing. Well, we'll figure that out on the break. All right. I think that's it. We have 40 minutes. Well, actually, we only have 35 minutes before we come back from break. So go get yourself some lunch. Think about the buttons, how many there were. I mean, take a visual screenshot of everything and get your best guess in, because we're going to be wrapping this up here soon. We are going to portal over to the new live stream, which starts in about 30 minutes. So when we catch up with Cochran later, I'm not sure. It's going to be a different court. I'm not sure if they broadcast that. So we'll see if some new answers come in, if somebody nails it right on the nose. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, and make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again in about 35 minutes right here with part 7 of day whatever it is in this Natalie Cochran trial. It's getting crazy. Defense is at the bottom of the barrel, I think. We'll see if she decides to testify. If she does, that would be quite interesting as well. But maybe we'll find out right after lunch. You guys have yourselves a wonderful lunch. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye.
Walmart.